See you today. I know you've worked hard on this, and we're very excited about hearing from you today. I am Jeff Owen. I've lived in the Washington, D.C. area for over 40 years, and I'm retired, having worked with the American Bankers Association for several years. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you. My name is J.C. Polanco. I'm an attorney in New York City, and I live in the Bronx. And this is, I think, my third or fourth time here. So I'm very looking forward to what you have to say today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ellen Iwamoto. I am the Director of Civics Programs at the Annenberg Public Policy Center at the University of Pennsylvania. And sitting here in Philadelphia, I'm excited to hear what you've learned about immigration policy, clearly a big topic in the news. So good luck.
And could you introduce yourselves and your teacher?
Hi, I'm Sarah Gastineau.
I'm Ella Howard.
I'm Tyler Frieden.
And I'm Isaiah Hamilton. We are Unit 6 from Fall Creek Junior High, and our sponsors are Mr. Patrick Bradshaw and Mrs. Jeannie Medeiros.
Well, good morning, and thank you to the teachers for all of the preparation that you've done here today. I'm going to read the question. Your Unit 6, what are the responsibilities of citizens? Question 1, according to the American Immigration Council, immigration law in the United States has been built upon the following principles: the reunification of families, admitting immigrants with skills that are valuable to the U.S. economy, protecting refugees, and promoting diversity. Does today's immigration policy reflect these principles? Why or why not? What are the major cultural and political issues regarding immigration that face America today? What changes, if any, should be made to our current immigration policy? Should the United States admit more refugees in view of the worldwide crisis of displaced persons? Why or why not? Please begin.
We believe the current immigration policies do reflect the principles stated by the American Immigration Council. With the recent change in presidency, the new administration has created task forces to reunite families, also trying to raise the number of refugee admissions. The United States was built by immigrants, and immigrants have strengthened our country in many ways. So by authorizing more immigrants into the country, we would allow for them to bring different skill sets that offer a more diverse nation. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, 17% of the workforce is made of immigrants. President Biden pushes for more diversity, stating,
Affirmatively advancing equity, civil rights, racial justice, and equal opportunity is the responsibility of the whole of our government.
There are many issues yet to be corrected regarding immigration. A primary question would be, will the United States be accepting of the cultures of different immigrant groups? According to the United States Department of Justice, in 2019, 57.6% of hate crimes were based on race, and 20.1% were based on religion. A very significant cultural issue is how the United States will treat immigrants and refugees. Migrant detention centers, where immigrants are held, have less than ideal conditions for housing these people, including shelters so cold they've been described as iceboxes, as well as the rampant spread of diseases such as measles and mumps. Another issue is the current rise in border entries. With the increase in the number of allowed refugee admissions, some immigrants feel as though they will have a better chance of entering into the country. This causes major overcrowding at many of the border shelters.
Politically, a serious concern deals with the process used to pass laws regarding immigration. If the Biden administration tried to pass a law unless it deals with appropriation, they would need 60 votes in order to pass the law, meaning 9 Republican senators would need to vote with the bill, which is currently unlikely. These concerns regarding immigrants has helped to shape the current policy of the United States.
The Immigration and Nationality Act, or the INA, is the law currently governing the immigration policy in the United States. This allows the United States to grant up to 675,000 permanent immigrant visas across various visa categories each year, which is approximately equivalent to the city of Nashville, Tennessee's current estimated population. In addition, the INA has set no limit on the annual admission of parents, spouses, and children under the age of 21, although we still do see other changes that could be made to the current immigration policy in the United States.
Some of us believe that the United States government should change the percentage of the federal budget that is allocated towards immigration reform by increasing the amount that is invested in funding an organization such as the USCIS. The USCIS is a federal government agency that oversees lawful immigration into the United States. Therefore, if we were to increase the budget that goes toward the USCIS, the immigration process would be less of a struggle. On the other hand, some of us believe that the United States should create more agencies and organizations that are similar to organizations such as United We Dream. Instead of a 501c3 nonprofit non-governmental organization, it would be a government-run agency that offers aid to immigrants.
Another change that could be made to the current immigration policy is making the Immigration Nationalization Civics Test or the INS test easier for immigrants. Instead of taking a test where most people end up cramming the information and forgetting it after, immigrants could take a course that they retain the information they are studying. Further, taking the test in a non-native language adds stress to immigrants, along with having to study rigorously in order to gain citizenship. Another issue is civics in the United States, which is very insufficient. Recently, the Indiana House Bill 1384, which was recently signed into law, requiring all middle school students to take at least one semester of civics.
Mr. Union believes the United States should admit more refugees in view of the worldwide crisis of displaced persons because every person deserves to live in a safe environment. We believe this because an increase in refugees can create a richer and more diverse culture, can help reduce labor shortages, and can help immigrants feel more included in the American fabric. Also, the new administration is making efforts to almost quadruple the current amount of refugee admissions, and as John F. Kennedy once said,
Everywhere immigrants have enriched and strengthened the fabric of American life. We are now prepared for your follow-up questions.
Great, thank you very much. That's very well done. I'd like to start with an issue that's been very topical. You didn't reference it, but maybe you could talk a little bit about it. Should the U.S. build a wall along our border with Mexico to stop the flow of illegal immigration? Why or why not?
I do not believe that the United States should build a wall to prevent illegal immigrants coming to the country, because this is going to stop all illegal immigrants coming to the country, where many of the immigrants have very important reasons that they're coming to the United States. For example, many of them leave their homes for uninhabitable living situations, whether that includes war or just they don't feel safe in their home, and they come to the United States hoping that they'll be safe. So by putting a wall up, we would prevent them from coming into the United States.
To add on to my colleague Isaiah, if we put a wall in front of the Mexican border, this would give the sense that we do not want them in here and that we are not welcoming to other countries.
To add on to my colleague Ella, by doing this can cause unrest between not only our country but other countries, and it can help to kind of show that we may not be open to building alliances, and can cause conflict not only between countries but can harm our own citizens.
You know, it's interesting what you were discussing regarding the people that were here, coming here undocumented, and why. I'm concerned about the people that are coming here undocumented and they come here with children. What are we to do with those kids that they bring with them undocumented? I'm sure you've heard of DACA. What do you think of the program? And is this something that should be fixed? Is it a good program? Should it be changed? What do you think?
I believe that the children who come with American arrivals, I think one of the biggest issues is the family separations that occur when they try to enter the country. I believe with the new presidency, they are trying to create task forces to eventually reunite these families. But I think that currently we should try to keep the families as connected as possible, because by separating them, they're giving the children, many of them will become feared that they won't see their parents again.
Also, I believe that we should educate these children. These children have the right to learn and to grow as our citizens do. So they should have the right to education.
I disagree with my colleague Ella. I believe that the children that come here should not fully get a free education, since they're not paying the tax dollars that provide towards a free public education. They should have to pay.
Thank you.
So I heard you mention a little bit about passing laws in Congress. So we talked a lot about federal policy. Do you think state governments should have the power to regulate immigration, and why or why not?
I do not believe that the state government should be in charge of the immigration policies. State legislators only need a majority to pass legislation, and this could cause for the minority's voice to not be heard.
To add on to my colleague Isaiah, in our own state of Indiana, in 1851, only 9 years before the Civil War, we adopted a second constitution, and in Article 13, Section 1 of that constitution, it kept any Negroes or mulattoes from settling in the state. And in Section 2 of Article 13, it stated that any current citizens were to be fined or put into jail if they did any business with them. I
agree with my fellow colleagues Sarah and Isaiah, as I believe that it should not be that that the state government should not be in charge because I believe it should be the federal government. In the Supreme Court case, Arizona v. United States, the court invalidated most of an Arizona law that was seeking to regulate undocumented immigrants. And the court said, quote, "The states are precluded from regulating conduct in a field that Congress, acting within its proper authority, has determined must be regulated by its exclusive governance. Therefore, I believe that the state should not be in charge of the immigration policy."
On the other hand, the 10th Amendment states, "The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people." While some may believe that this applies to immigration, we believe that immigration is too big of a topic and the federal government should instead deal with it. Also, states could get into conflict about how the immigration policy would work if they were in charge of it.
Thank you. We have time for another
Thank you.
question. I have a question about more of the economics of this. What, if any, role does government have in helping recent immigrants to find employment and housing?
Could you please repeat the question?
What role does the government have, if any, in helping these new entrants to our population here find jobs and housing? Or should they be on their own to do that?
I believe that the government should not have any role in this, in giving them work or housing, because the immigrants, like our own people, citizens of the United States, they should be able to do it by themselves, for themselves.
I respectfully disagree with my colleague Ella, as I believe if there are immigrants coming to this country that may not be from very respected backgrounds, or if they may not be in a very well economic stance, then they may not be able to find housing or be able to afford food. Therefore, I believe that the government could help with several agencies that we could possibly create.
To add on to my colleague Tyler, one of the main reasons immigrants come to America is for a job, because they have such a hard time providing for themselves in their own country. And especially with the fee they have to pay, I believe the government should have some role in helping them when they first arrive.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do I have a time, Kelly? I have a question regarding where we accept immigrants from. And I wonder how you feel about us allowing some people in from some countries and not from others. Like, should the United States open up its borders and allow people to come in from countries that we don't have good relationships with?
I believe that we should allow people from countries that we may not have good relationships with, because it could become similar to the National Origins Act of 1924, also known as the Immigration Act of 1924, which had very strict quotas and permanent, and they were more permanent than our current immigration policy. And I believe that they were a lot more harsh, and that they shouldn't be as harsh as they are.
To add on to my colleague Tyler, I believe that we should allow people from any country, even if we have a bad relationship with them. Many immigrants come to the United States hoping to receive more safe welcoming, because many of them leave their countries from uninhabitable living situations. And so by allowing them from any country, whether we have a good or bad relationship, they come to America hoping for safety. And so we should allow that to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the judges? Kelly, are we good? We're at time. Great. Well, thank you very, very much. We're going to give you some comments here. First off, I would just applaud you for your presentation and how you were, I think, successfully able to balance some of the economic issues and the legal issues and the humanitarian issues, which I think it's a very complicated stew of issues that we have here. And I think I also thought it was healthy that you were able to disagree with each other. I think that's really, really a good sign. And it wasn't that you were just giving us pat answers. You had thought through the pros and cons of these. And you demonstrated that there are no easy answers for much of this. And the ability to demonstrate that personally as you went back and forth was terrific. So I'll defer now to the other two judges for their comments.
I couldn't agree with Judge Owen as much as I do right now. You guys were great. I love the way that you explained some things that I never thought about. I'm from the Bronx, and you asked me about Indiana's state constitution in the 1800s. I don't know, I never would have imagined learning something today regarding pre-Civil War Indiana. But I want to thank you for that tidbit of information I'll be able to use moving forward. And I learned a great deal from you today. So thank you so much for your presentation.
I agree. It was an excellent presentation, and I am so impressed by how you were able to, just think on your feet and come up with these citations and talk about a Supreme Court case, talk about the Constitution, cite the articles and clauses just off the top of your head. So obviously you're very well prepared, and so congratulations to your teachers as well. I thought your answers, your presentations were very well grounded and very good supporting evidence. So congratulations. Great job.
Well done. Thank you.